open meeting of Grafton Planning and Building Committee being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted to the town's website at www.graftonmassma.gov, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For any response, please wait until I yield the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. So, we start, Lisa, you sent out the minutes. And so is there a motion to review and approve those?
I have a question before you, well, I move to approve them, and then I'll ask my question at the right time.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, now my
right.
question. I wanted to make 2 changes. And do those stick because this is a Google Doc?
Yes, so did you make them into the doc?
Yes, because you had me listed twice, and I don't think I think you should, you don't want me twice. You don't want me once.
Yeah, whatever, as long as you make them before we take the vote, it will stick.
Okay, I was gonna email you and I just didn't get done, so
No,
that's all.
That's the beauty of the Google Doc. Save yourself an email.
Okay, thank you.
However, speaking of the beauty of Google Docs, I am currently logged out of my Gmail account. They're convinced that my computer, for whatever reason, they're not letting me in. I'm ready to kill these people. And I no longer have access to my work account because I'm not working there anymore. So I cannot access a Google Docs minutes. I really need to get them as either a PDF or a Word document. So please, if that could somehow be arranged for the future, I would greatly appreciate it. So I apologize, and you know, nothing against, well, actually a lot of things against Google because they're driving me crazy, but that's just not an option for some reason.
You can send them out as view only too, so that people who we have email and have permission can edit. And then you just have to send an edit like to Lisa if you had a change.
Yep.
And then you can at least see them.
Okay, so Lisa, did you second that?
No, Irene did.
Yeah,
Great.
I seconded the motion.
Okay, by roll call, Beth?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Irene?
Abstain because I never got to read them.
Got it. Doug?
Aye.
And Prabhu?
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried. Bills, got a lot of bills.
Kind of the way it is sometimes. These are all these are all pretty straightforward bills, but we'll walk you through them one at a time. So the first one's for National Grid for $211.88. This is for work that was done on one of the National Grid poles while we were removing underground storage tank number 3.
I make a motion, we pay National Grid $211.88.
Second.
Okay, by roll call, Beth? Julie?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Irene?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Prabhu?
Aye.
Okay, the motion's carried. Next, Andy?
Thank you. Next one is Colliers. This is their monthly invoice for their commissioning services. It's just their July invoice for $1,069.45.
I make a motion, we pay Colliers $1,069.45.
Second.
Second.
By roll call,
Too
Beth?
slow.
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
and Prabu.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
All right, next one's for Sunbelt. This is probably the best $3,800 that we could have spent for Beth so far on this project. So given the heat that we've had in the last month. So this is for temporary AC units in the interim library.
I make a motion, we pay Sunbelt $3,868.16.
Second.
Okay, by roll call, Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabu.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried.
Excellent, thank you. Next one is for DRA. It's their invoice for June of this year, $14,038.60 monthly invoice.
I make a motion, we pay DRA $14,038.60 for their June invoice.
Second.
By roll call, Beth, Julie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabu.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
The next one is also for DRA. This is for July of this year, to 2020. So this is in the amount of $22,461.76.
So I'm going to make a motion, but then I have a question. I make a motion to pay DRA $22,461.76.
Second.
So if this is a monthly professional service, why are the amounts different?
Ron, you can jump in if you want, but in general, it depends on the level of effort month to month. Administratively for DRA, when the submittals are ramping up and there's a lot of oversight, there might be more hours in one. Generally, it's going to be pretty consistent, but there might be, depending on the where we are in the project, they may have to ramp up or down with hours.
Thank you.
Okay, by roll, yep, go ahead.
Sorry, but the, as far as like the total budget's concerned, there's no reason to think that we're going to be over budget on their portion.
Correct.
Correct. It might vary month to month, but the overall amount allocated is the same.
Right.
Okay, by roll call, Beth, Julie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabu.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried.
All right, next one is for UTS. They're our testing agency. This one is actually, I believe this one's for soil and concrete testing.
I make, oh, sorry.
$3,725.
So I'm going to make the motion, but I have, of course, a question. For, to pay UTS $3,725 for April for concrete and soil testing.
Second.
So last month we paid them $785 for concrete and steel testing for April. So this is just an additional April bill that they missed when they charged us that time?
Yeah, they split the month up for some reason. It kind of depends on their effort. Again, they came out for one chunk of time and they billed it, and this was the rest of that as well. I think this is actually, technically, I think this is actually April and May, but it really depends on when they were out here. So yeah.
All right, sorry. You'd think I was writing the check, but I'm sorry.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Now, great
And-
question.
And one other quick
Um,
question.
Yep, go ahead, Doug.
Is this built into those PCOs that accounted for all of the soil? This is totally separate from those PCOs.
No, this is separate because these guys have a contract directly with us.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, by roll call, Beth, Julie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
All right, next one is for UTS. This one is for July, and it is for concrete and steel testing.
I make a motion, we pay UTS $2,850 for July 2020.
Second.
Okay, by roll call, Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu.
Aye.
Motion's carried.
Excellent. Next one is for DA Sullivan. This is their July invoice for $9,450.
I make a motion, we pay DAS Sullivan $9,450 for July 2020.
Second. Sorry. We're all waiting for the second.
By roll call, Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried.
All right. Next one is Weston and Sampson. So they are our licensed site professional. They're the ones that have been dealing with all the environmental issues. We just had a big filing for the DEP. So this is a combination of they come out and test soil, they test the groundwater, and they're doing all the paperwork for all the DEP stuff as well. So this is their invoice for their latest work. So $53,600.28.
I make a motion, we pay Weston Sampson $53,600.28. But I have a question, of course.
Of course.
Second.
My question is, should we expect to see any more this large? Or is like because the soil stuff's done?
They've got some more work to do because there's still groundwater monitoring wells that are in place, and there's still some more paperwork that has to get done and closed out with the state. So I don't know if it's going to be this large, and we do have an overall contract and limit with them anyway, so it's not going to go over what we've already agreed.
Any more questions? Okay, by roll call, Beth, Julie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
and Prabhu.
Aye.
Great, thanks. Next,
So the one that we don't have on here is actually the one that Nick would like us to really approve, which is their monthly requisition number 9 for July. So this is for the general contractor for CTA. Requisition number 9 for July is in the amount of $701,835.79.
Can you do the amount one more time? I'm sorry.
Sure, 701,835.79.
All right, so moved.
Second.
I have a question. Is that one of the attachments?
It was.
It starts 09. 09 Grafton, July final.
Okay, that's the last one. Got it. Thank you.
any other questions?
I have a question. Final as in final forever or just final for the month?
Final for the month.
Okay.
There's a draft, then there's a one that gets signed, and then there's a final. So there's several versions. Yeah, I can clean up that language for the one that I share with you guys so it's not confusing. But yes, that's just for the month.
I had one other question on this. Can I?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
There is an
Brian.
endorsement on the policy. Is that a true endorsement? Is that, what does this endorsement mean, and why do we have an endorsement now? After the certificate of liability insurance, there is an endorsement.
I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not sure. What, are you reading the pay app?
16, page 16 of 29. I'm not sure. It says endorsement, and there's the policy attached to that.
Oh. It's the, yeah, yeah, I should have explained that. So there are some stored materials that have,
Okay.
there are some materials that have been purchased that have been stored for us that are not on site yet. So there's some paperwork that came along with those stored materials. So generally there's insurance, there's actual photographs of the materials. So that's what that's related to.
Okay.
Right, so
And
this
this
will
is-
happen several times throughout the course of the project. There might be times where the material's been ordered and received, but CTA doesn't want it at the site yet. So you'll get a transfer of title, which moves everything to the town's possession with that insurance certificate for stored. So the people who purchase the material want to get paid for it. But on the receiving end, we don't want it. It'll just be in the way, or it's too early, or something of that nature. So a lot of times you see that with finishes or glass, glazing, things like that, or millwork items that might just be ahead of the curve. So this is how they pay for those, or how they invoice for those items.
And would any of these be passed through in terms of cost, or is it all factored in already?
It's all factored in. It's part of, there's no additional cost. It's just an administrative, so that.
You're hosting it somewhere, so they need to have some liability insurance. That's it.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Can someone remind me who seconded this? I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
I think I did.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, by roll call, Beth? Julie?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Irene?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Pravu?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
That's it for bills.
Okay. Now you're up again, Andy.
The hits just keep on coming. All right.
Mhm.
So I'm going to start off with fun stuff. So number one, all the steel has been put in place. It looks great. The steel guys will be here for another couple of weeks at least, doing all the final connections and putting on the deck and a bunch of that stuff. But in terms of the overall shape of the building, it's here. So if you haven't been by, you should definitely come take a drive by before too long and take a look at it. The dormers look really good. Everything looks really good. So very exciting to have all the steel up and in place. The second really exciting thing, because it's only happened a couple of times, and I'm not even sure if it's happened this well in the last 30 years that I've been doing this. The north end gable wall, the brick work has been completed, and it's a really good match. I mean, we try to do this. I've tried to do this I don't know how many times, and Mark, you can chime in. It's just, as much as you try to get an exact match on brick and mortar or stone or something like that, you almost never do. And man, I'll tell you, it just looks awesome. It's just a real pleasure to have the materials come together like this once.
What happens a lot is when you try really hard to match something and you just miss, it looks like a mistake. And so oftentimes designers, they'll go the complete opposite way and not even try and have something completely different. So here the effort was made to match it, and it looks like did a pretty good job. So because it looks good.
Yeah. So it's great. It's very exciting. Definitely, again, come by and take a look at that, or drive by or walk by. It's really good. So since our last meeting, I think everybody knows, we did find a third underground storage tank, which was promptly dealt with. And there's no more digging. So that's it.
Hallelujah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
Where's
this
the
was,
champagne?
yeah, I know, right? This one was wedged between a telephone pole and a guide wire. I mean, I don't know, when Engrid put those things in, they just bore a hole and put them in, and they just managed to miss it just by a random act. But this thing was in terrible shape, but it's been removed. The material's been removed. We're all set. So that thing's out of the way. I'm not going to find any more of those.
Is that unusual for those to have been placed so close to the street? Aren't the
Well, it was a gas station, so those were. I mean, it was a little bit different back then. I don't think it was unusual, John.
Street could have been smaller back then too.
I'm sure it's a dirt road.
Yeah, right. We did do some test pits in the front of the library. We found a bunch of brick out there, but nothing worse than brick, so that's not too terrible. Concrete, masonry. The other kind of sort of big chunk that we've gotten out of the way this past month is just the underground plumbing. The majority of the underground plumbing in the building is now has been completed. So we managed to sort of squeak that in amongst the two different erection sequences we had for steel. So that was really good. It's just a nice chunk of work to get out of the way. It's all backfilled and covered and protected now. So that's just a good piece of work that, we could have been starting it right now, but instead managed to make it happen and get it in there right now. So that was really also very, very I guess the other couple of updates is just from a cost update, you'll see the overall cost of the project, the projected cost of the project really hasn't changed much this month. That's what Mark and I had sort of mentioned this last month. It was that hopefully we'd see that trend happen where the upward curve of project cost would flatten, and hopefully we'll see this continue. The change orders, the PCOs that we're going to look at tonight are the same ones that we looked at the last meeting. This is just the last ones that we have to look at. So nothing has really changed significantly in terms of cost for the project, which is, again, good news. And just in terms of schedule, I mean, we're doing well, I think, in terms of schedule so far. Again, we talked about once we're out of the ground, this is basically a new construction project. So CTA's schedule so far has been sort of conservative. So we've been beating the dates that have been put out there, and I think it's all going to shake out. We're expecting an update shortly, but I think the overall, just when people are asking you, the goal is to have the building closed in and tight by Thanksgiving. So I think we'll be able to do that. We'll see what that looks like before too long. We are going to see paving happen in the next couple of weeks, which would be great. Again, safety hasn't been an issue here. Everybody's been good, and quality, everybody's been doing a good job between UTS and the Geotech guys and Weston and Sampson and the superintendent John and myself on site paying attention to things. It's been good. We have caught a couple of things recently. There were some steel beams that came in that needed to be painted that weren't. So again, it's just a good thing to catch that kind of stuff as early as we can so that we can take care of it and we don't have any delays or any other issues. So yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. It was a good month. Got a lot of things done despite that third underground storage tank. It's been all really good news, good progress.
Okay, great. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions
I
for
have
Andy?
two questions.
Sure. Go ahead.
So one was on the schedule. So Andy, if there is going to be a revised schedule in your report, is it going to be on a positive side? Are we seeing a potential of pulling this in against the set timeline of Thanksgiving? Is that what it is?
I don't know that we're trying to. I don't know that we're trying to pull it in much right now. I think right now we're trying to get everything settled. There's been some changes just in terms of steel erection and some things like that. So right now, I just want to see where the dust is settled. Mark, what do you think about schedule? I don't think we're really trying to go after big chunks of time right now.
No, I think, unfortunately, up until last month, the site kept getting in the way of the schedule. And whether it was underground oil tanks or the contaminated soil or the testing and the whole processes that we had to go through. And so the site was in the way of the town kind of getting out of CTEA's way and letting them go. Over this past month, that's pretty much behind us now. As Andy said, it's almost like dealing with COVID, where we're trying to flatten the curve with these change orders, and that's happened this month. And so now the site is no longer in the way of the schedule, and it's up to CTA to drive the schedule. And as Andy mentioned, it's the end of the month, beginning of a new month, so it's time for an updated schedule. What we've seen with the projected dates that they've had before, when there were still a lot of unknowns, is they've been conservative by nature, which is good. And so I would anticipate moving forward with nothing in the way of being better than the dates that they're putting out. But I don't know that we're at the point yet, because we're really just getting underway right now. We're just building up the momentum in a substantial way for the first time. So I don't think we're trying to make a Thanksgiving date, a Halloween date. You know, at this point, it's let's get a month or two underneath us, see how we're going, and then we can project downstream, you know, several months down instead of several weeks out. So.
Okay. So for now, we are marching towards our original timeline, and that's what is the communication.
Right.
Perfect. The second question I had was going back to the cost sheet, the project cost report, Andy, your favorite Excel. When we see the total cost, we talked about it last time against the total approved. Too soon for the drum roll.
That's my alarm, sorry.
Okay. So the question there was, the approved cost was 16.6 million, the total approved, right, for borrowing cost.
Right.
But the projected cost, so how does that work out? Is the approved cost what the project would be marching towards, or do we need to go back to do you guys need to go back to select board or wherever to ask for additional funding if it goes beyond the project cost?
So the 16.6 is the total that, right, like you said, it's the total that was approved. So as long as we're staying under that, we don't have to go back to anybody to ask. Then we're fine. We're within budget. So,
okay.
And the projected cost is just what it's literally just, you know, we haven't, it's what we're seeing. I've got contracts for Weston and Sampson, for instance, for a total sum of money. They're billing against that, but I'm including their entire number as the projected part of their projected number.
Okay. So from the town perspective, we are still under the approved cost.
Yes.
We don't track against the project cost. That should be the communication out, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Makes sense. I'm good. Thank you. Thanks, Mary.
Okay.
My question's a little easier for you, Andy. And I don't know if I missed it, but so what's the next big thing that you're going to notice on the site? When do walls start going up? Or, I mean, I know all the plumbing and electrical work, we don't really see that happening, but I'm just kind of curious, what's the next big thing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the next big thing, while the iron workers are here, the next thing that's going to happen is the rest of the metal deck is going to go out on the floor of the second floor, but also on the roof. So when that goes on the sloped roof, then you'll really feel that the planes of the building, it'll take shape a little bit more form, because you won't be able to see through it anymore. So that'll be really the next big thing that you'll see is the metal deck going on the roof and on the floor.
And after that, Doug, after that metal deck is installed, then they'll work towards pouring the concrete slabs on that metal deck.
Yep.
The slabs will then allow them to start the framing, which sits on the slabs. And then that framing will get the plumbing and the electrical and mechanical, everything that's in those walls. So that'll be a big milestone. Once they pour those slabs, that's gonna be like the first big domino to fall, which will trigger a lot of subsequent work. So getting the deck up, to Andy's point, is kind of milestone A, and then the slab pour will be the next big one.
Great, thank you.
Anybody have any other questions? Okay. So Mark, OPM update. Are you?
Generally, not a lot to add from what Andy said. On the schedule, we talked with the executive PM with CTA, and then Nick's with us, I know, tonight. And up until now, they've been updating the schedule without any restraints as far as when you do a complicated schedule, like on a construction project like this, there are several items that precede a task and several items that rely on that task's completion to happen. And they've been just kind of letting the schedule fall. So once we get a month or two where CTA is kind of driving this bus and not the site was driving the project, then they can start going back and looking at, if they put constraints on the project and said, you know, what do we have to do to make Thanksgiving, you know, November 15th? You know, what is that going to mean? Is that attainable? So we'll be getting into scenarios like that as we move forward. But for now, we're in a nice little groove and things seem to be going well. There was a little hiccup that we'll talk about a little more tomorrow, where the existing steel meets the new steel meets the existing building. At the base of the existing building, there's a rubble foundation which isn't perfectly plumb, and so when they took a dimension off that irregular surface, they took the dimension off the furthest dimension of the rubble wall, and that's created a gap up top. I don't know if I'm describing this well. That is gap that we now have to fill structurally. So there's a structural resolution which I think we've got on the run, and then we'll have to look at the architectural implications of that, which really, because of what happens at the junction of the new and the existing, I think will be fairly minimal. But that's an issue it's not going to slow down construction. It doesn't look like, but those things are going to happen, and I think DRA, to their credit, administratively, we're in really good shape. There are very few open RFIs, very few open submittals, and the color committee just started. I can let Ron speak to that. So we're in a good place administratively, and now we can kind of just turn this over to CTA and say, have at it.
I have a question about that. That the addition, is it mechanically attached to the old building? Are they two sitting side by side, not mechanically?
There's an expansion joint, a 3-inch expansion joint, which is basically a slot between the existing and the new, because they're going to move at different rates. Right. And so you're going to see, when you walk from the existing into the new building, you're going to walk over an expansion cover, which is just a cover over a hole that lets that movement happen, and it kind of slides underneath that cover. And that's a standard detail, and if you're not really paying attention, you don't think anything of it, but that's how they deal with things like that.
And on the outside, is it just a wide piece of like rubberized caulk that again allows the building to?
It's another joint, but architecturally it's going to be covered.
So you don't even see it. Okay.
Does anybody have any other questions for Mark? Okay, Ron, you're up.
Thank you. One of the things that will be coming up for the exterior will be the completion of the exterior wall mock-up, which will have the brick, the grouting, the paint colors for the siding, the window trim, the window frames. So that'll be available for review shortly. I'm not sure exactly. We'll talk more tomorrow about when that will be complete in the construction meeting. But that's one review point that's coming up for the exterior of the building. We had a meeting last Thursday night for the interior finishes, and unfortunately, I was not as prepared as some of the committee members had hoped I would be, so I apologize up front for that. What we're doing moving forward is I'm working on 2 schemes. I am modifying the original design scheme that our interior designers did based on comments that came out of that meeting Thursday night. So that is going to be tweaked and reworked a little bit. I am also developing a design scheme for the interiors on my own, working with Ken. Ken is reviewing it, and actually, he and I discussed this on Friday rather, and he and I met this afternoon. I had spent some time working on it this weekend to generate ideas and got his input this afternoon to make sure that he and I are on the same page moving forward on all aspects, on both schemes. So I am working on those two schemes. I am ordering samples, additional samples that will be needed. We had intended to meet a week from tonight on the 10th. I'm aiming for that date as long as I can get the material samples in order to make this a beneficial meeting. Again, it will be an in-person meeting. It will be a live meeting. We'll keep our distance, but it helps to have everyone there to see things firsthand, so you're not judging colors and patterns and textures through a computer screen.
Yeah, I think that's really important. If everybody can be there in person, I mean, I think going to Stop and Shop is probably more dangerous than going to this meeting. But it's really helpful to see. You kind of have to see this stuff in person. We can keep
Jared, when?
Tentatively for a week from tonight
at the interim library
at I believe 5:30 at the
5:30.
interim library. I will know by Wednesday or Thursday of this week if I'm going to have all of my samples in time, because I have to order additional carpet samples. I'm doing something different with some of the other finishes, so I have to order more samples. I have ordered some already. I have gotten a paint selector kit. I placed an order for some tiles and some carpet, but now that I'm fleshing out the designs, I need to order more materials. So I'll have a notice out to everybody before the end of this week if we need to.
Mary, do we have to worry about timing? Is this going to be considered a meeting, and do we have to worry about open meeting constraints? Beth's shaking her head. Yes, we do.
It gets posted.
Okay, but will that be sufficient time? So if Ron contacts everyone late Wednesday and we post either Wednesday night or Thursday morning, is that sufficient for a meeting on Monday?
I'm posting it as we speak, and I'll just do an amendment. Amendments
Gotcha.
can be done
Okay.
5 minutes before.
Okay.
Almost. So
Okay.
that
And
covers
also,
it.
who is on that subcommittee? Can you remind me? I know Beth. Okay.
Julie, Mark, Beth, John,
Okay.
Andy.
Great.
Can I ask why you're creating a second one? Is it just to have a second choice, or was there feedback?
So to further look at options, and not for the sake of burning up hours, but there was one design scheme presented that was part of the construction documents that a lot of us don't feel was fully fleshed out. Not that it was bad, there were items that still needed to be worked out. And now, if I understand correctly, that scheme was not discussed with the entire subcommittee. I don't remember offhand. So from what I'm shaking heads, I'm assuming that it was not. So now that there's a subcommittee, we are fleshing out that one idea and presenting another to just take it in a different direction and see what people think. And a lot of it's based on comments that came out of past meetings. It's not unusual to do this, to have a handful of options to look at. And that's what I have for architectural update.
Okay, does anybody else have any other questions for Ron? Historic District Commission?
Andy sent an email out today, and I forwarded it to the committee, that we had approved the color match, and he was asking everyone to attend or to visit the site to see, because I think, like they said before, Very excited because that's a rare occurrence where the mortar matches as well as it does. So that's where we are. And I think the next meeting will involve I think it's the window frames, the color of the window frames, and maybe the paint for the addition. Whenever that's appropriate, I don't know if we're at that stage yet, but I think that's the next thing that needs to be discussed with the historic district.
So what
Correct.
did,
That would be
historic
the
district-
exterior mock-up.
So what have they approved so far? Just the grout?
Yes.
And the brick, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Right. That's simple. That's the hard one.
Okay, anybody have any questions there? Okay. The Interior Design Subcommittee. Does anybody else have anything to say about the last meeting you had and fill us in on anything?
Just thanks for Beth for walking around with the laptop for those of us who were not on site, that we actually got some value out of being remote, but definitely will attend in person next time.
It, and I sent it to Bob Detoma, and I did take up close-up pictures too, and I sent those to Bob asking if he would, the places where I couldn't get close enough, if he would intersperse those pictures. I just looked at GCTV and I don't know if it's up yet, but it would be on the government channel when it airs. And since Lisa, you didn't need to go, so I can just write something that says we met to discuss interiors, the state, and that's enough for the minutes. It's the entire meeting will be online.
Anybody else? I'm just curious what the what were you looking for that was so different from before?
Well, so I'll speak up. So I didn't really think we hadn't anything to choose from. There was like, here's the gray we're going to use, here's the blue we're going to use. I thought the whole point of this was that we were going to have a subcommittee so we could look at what the choices are, and we could all talk about it and come up with a decision about some of these major materials. And I just didn't feel like we were getting that. So I just think that's sort of the point of this committee, is to be able to look at, DRA, they're the design professionals. I want them to come to us with what they feel is the best color palette and materials and choices for contemporary library in Grafton. So it's just sort of trying to get back to that idea that we should be looking at one of the best solutions for this and having choices to pick from and going forward from there.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Just curious.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll have something like, here's an earth tone palette, and if we went down this road, you might have this blue and this gray and this brown. And then if in the children's we want to go more playful, here are some primary colors and just some different options so that everyone feels good about the final choices that are ultimately being chosen.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Any public input? Doug?
You're muted, Doug.
Finding my unmute. I noticed Nick Schultes is on. Can someone introduce him?
Nick, you with us?
Yeah, I'm the project manager for CTA, and they just wanted us to call in to all the meetings this month since everything's remote now. So
Great, nice to meet you. Or thanks for joining.
So Andy, Ron, and I will be with Nick tomorrow at the weekly job meeting, along with the super and the executive PM. So Nick's there every week and processes everything, the RFIs, the proposals, the pay apps, everything. So if we fall behind schedule, Nick's the guy you want to blame.
fair enough.
Prabhu?
Yeah, so between probably Beth and Mary, do we have any updates as to how long are we going to be continuing on Zoom? The background is at my work. We just made very recently, we made a decision that we are not bringing back the folks till the end of the year. So I'm not going into Boston till the end of the year. What does this mean for us? And there are safety concerns still out there and all those things. Do we have any directions, updates?
I don't think we do have direction unless somebody else can say otherwise. Andy?
So the DPW building committee just met last month on site in person, but also had a Zoom component in case anybody wasn't comfortable or in case somebody from the public wanted to join in and didn't want to be there in person. So we did both and had it in a very large room with, so people agreed ahead of time that they were comfortable enough to go and do that. So, but I talked to Becca ahead of time to make sure that that was okay to do. And she said it was, as long as we had a Zoom component still so that somebody else could call in if they were uncomfortable.
Okay. Thank you.
And so that brings us to, do we want to continue the Zoom calls at this time?
Yes.
Everybody else too?
I think a lot of committees are going to do that because even if almost everybody's comfortable, there may be one person that either is compromised or whatever, in whatever way. They may have a family member. So I think for a while, a lot of committees are just going to do that until there may be, even till next spring. I don't know how that'll get dealt with as far as how long that will happen.
It's certainly more efficient. It's wreaking havoc with my ability to have signed paperwork, actual signatures. But fortunately, we have very good note keeping, and that generally I take the meeting minutes and I send those along with the approved invoices to accounting, so they can check it off to make sure everything's actually been approved that I say it has. So it's working out, but it's been a little tough on the paperwork side. I like to be really tight with that stuff and get signatures, and we haven't been able to do that. So, but it's okay.
Could we put those at the municipal center and each of us can go in and sign it? Like, we could do that, Andy, if that's important.
We could, and there have been a couple of things. So there's been Weston and Sampson's contract. They really want to get select board signature on that. So there's been a couple of things where it's been like that, but we're fine. We're creating a trail, which is the most important thing. If we get audited or something like that, we'd be able to show, what's being done, and it's all good.
Does the town, Andy, allow electronic signature, like DocuSign, something like that?
Yeah. We'll do that.
You can just send an email that says, this email serves as my digital signature, and I attach a copy of a picture of my digital signature. But even without that, that's been accepted because I have to pay bills to the library and sign off on POs.
I was just saying, because we're starting to use DocuSign, and there's different applications like that more and more. And so if the town had an account, it could be rotated through the whole committee electronically, and everybody could electronically sign it without any issue.
Yeah, DocuSign.
It costs.
Yeah.
It'll cost you average $6 a pop.
Right.
I just implemented that at work, so it's expensive. Regulatory wise, Mark, very good question. So Massachusetts also is a state. Actually, all the 50 states now have laws passed to accept e-signatures as in lieu of wet signatures. So we are good from that perspective. But it's not cheap.
No,
unless the state of Massachusetts signs up a multi-billion-dollar deal and says that, okay, now we get these for pennies,
right? Then
it'll become great.
Right.
Not going to happen.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I did see Doreen here. Did we not add her to the, we did add her. Is she just absent?
She did send me a note this afternoon saying that she was not able to make it. She had a conflict. She had another meeting at this time.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that we included her on our distribution list and that I have the minutes right. Thank you.
Right, because at the last meeting we had talked about trying to get Brooke Paget back on, and I had the question out there to say who do I ask to see about that, and so she was going to ask Candy, and ask the select board. And so still waiting on that.
That may require town meeting to change our charge.
Okay,
And if we did do that, I was thinking about that, and I don't remember, it's Carol. Somebody else on the committee is going to remember. Julie would remember. Carol, who was
Carol
on our
Westgate?
original. Westgate. Maybe he would be a good one because he was in on maybe the first two iterations of this. So that would, if they do expand it, he might be another person to include.
so still waiting on answers for that. But back to the Zoom things, we'll just keep doing the Zoom until we hear otherwise from the town and we all feel more comfortable meeting in person. So we'll do that. We want to set the next date.
It's the 31st, right? Because the following week is the Labor Day.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, we already set it for the 31st. Yeah.
We tend to book 2 out. I mean, do we
Yeah.
want to do, okay.
There's also a request to meet a little bit later at 5:30 instead of 4:30, if that's possible. Oh, it was Julie's request, and I see she just dropped off.
Oh,
I'm
I
advocating on her behalf.
I prefer 4:30 if possible, just because 5:30 butts me up to dinner, but other than that, I'm fine. I can do it at 5:30.
I can do either. I happen to like the 4:30, but I can do either.
Do you know, Beth, is it because of conflict with work or?
Yeah, she said that she mentioned at the Interiors Committee that she was working right up until 4:30 or 5 o'clock, so then to try, and yeah. this was
Is it
really-
possible we could make it to 5 o'clock? And then people that work,
Yeah.
that would definitely be more helpful to me as well. So does 5 work for everybody moving forward?
Yep. But for the 31st, are we going to stick with 4:30? Or are we going to change the 31st one to 5?
We can keep that one since we already had it set. We can keep that at 4:30, and then moving forward, we'll go to 5 o'clock.
I mean, I'm good either way.
I just missed. Sorry, I cut out.
It was your subject too.
Yeah, we're talking about you.
Later meeting time.
Yeah, so does, Julie, would 5 o'clock be better?
Yeah, it's just so that I can get home and get things set up.
Gotcha. Okay. So some people liked it at 4:30, some people
I
at 5:30. So we said 5 o'clock, so we settled on 5 o'clock, but the next meeting, which is the 31st of August, we're gonna keep that at 4:30.
Okay.
And then we'll do 5 o'clock after that.
All right.
So we're setting that date right now.
and that's the October meeting that's going to be at 5.
Yeah.
And that's the
October
5th.
Yep.
October 5th.
Yep.
5 o'clock. Okay.
Okay. So are we ready to adjourn? Yeah.
I make a motion to adjourn at 5:27 PM, please.
Second.
I will call Beth. Julie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
and Prabhu.
Aye.
All right, great. Nice job, guys. Quick one.